सबको स्क्रीन क्लियर है क्या? हेलो इशिका.
Yes, ma'am. Visible है.
Okay. Okay, so this is the day of Android, sorry, App Development Week, day 2. So we will see about basics of native Android application. So the software that we use for our native Android application development mainly is a Google created platform, that is Android Studio. And we set an emulator, or we can also have a developer options in our Android devices. So we can set the Android device by clicking 5 times on our built version. You can go to a phone settings, you can search for built version, then you can tap on it on 5 times, then the developer option in your Android device will open, and you can run the application through Android Studio into your device using a USB cord, or however you like. And for the installation of Android Studio, you can type this link, or if you need, we can also like I can show you. So if you copy paste the link on your browser, the website itself will show you if you're using Linux or Windows. For now, I'm using Linux 64-bit version. So if you have Windows or you have Mac OS, there is nothing to be worried about. You can just download the Android Studio itself, and it sets up its own Java file and everything. It downloads the latest Java, so it's very easy to download it. Okay, it's just a zip file or a .deb file if you're using Linux, so that is not a big deal. For now, I have installed the Android Studio in my device, so I'm not going to install it and show you for now. So let us move forward. So how to create a basic project in Android Studio, like how to create a very basic Hello World application. How does the application is created, or how we create the project, how we set the language, or how we set our software development kit. Either it's going to be KitKat, Oreo. As you know that Android have many versions: Android 10, Android 11, Android 9, Android 8, and like that. So after installing the Android Studio, you can create a new project. You can click on file, new, new project, and here for now we are going to build an application for phone and tablets. So I am going to click on phone and tablets, and then we are using a empty activity. We also have different kind of activity, like we can create a bottom navigation bar using bottom navigation activity. I think it also has three fragments, like in Netflix you have seen we have three fragments given below, and a navigation bar given below to us. Or if you have seen Google Maps, so we have a Google Map activity, and like that we have navigation drawer, side navigation drawer. Okay, so but for now, as we are just creating a simple Hello World application, I'm going to click on this empty activity. So I'm going to name it not my application, it's going to be Hello World. So here the package name is same as the name of the application that we want to give. So it's going to be com.example.helloworld. Okay, now here in the Android Studio we have two languages. Either we can code in Kotlin or in Java. Usually the beginners start coding in Java because it is a kind of familiar language, and it's been in an Android business for a little long time than Kotlin. It's a particularly new language, and adapting it, I think you should first learn Java, like basic programs. Then, of course, you have to move to Kotlin because it's really easy. It reduces your code base. It doesn't requires every time, like you don't have to bond it with your UI using find view by ID and everything. So it's very easier than Java. But I think first of all you should create at least one to two major applications in Java. Then you should move to Kotlin. So here we also set some minimum SDK, that is software development kit. So inside the software development kit, we can either use, as I told you, that Android has many different kinds of versions, and even up till now they are updating it. And we also have our beta versions like Android 12. Yet it's not in the market, but you can create an application which has minimum SDK of 12. Okay, so we have 10, Pi, Oreo, Nugget, KitKat, Jelly Bean. We usually select the minimum SDK as 4.4 or 4 series because they have higher rate of running your application into devices. Like here you can see, if you create this application, it's going to run on 99.4% of Android devices. So if you move to much lower version, it's going to get increased. Like for the Android Jelly Bean, it's going to work on 100% of the devices. Means this SDK minimum is in every Android version and every Android device. So this app can be run in any of them. So we can click on finish to create a new project. So our Gradle build is syncing. The Android project takes a little time to load its activity and everything. So while it's loading, let us move to our next slide. So before, okay, so seeing that, let's wait for 5 to 10 seconds. So okay, so here we have some major folders and activities, as you can see. So here we first of all have developed a Gradle scripts. So what is, we actually have a project structure here. So this is our Hello World application. Inside this we have all these folders, and it can for a more clear view, you can click on Android, and here we have our manifest file. We have our Java folder in which we have our main activity.java class, and we also have some Gradle scripts. So these are really important. So here you can see in the Gradle scripts we have two, that is project and module. So let us learn a little about them. So here you can see in our project Gradle we have a class path. Okay, and we are integrating Google and Maven Central. So Google and Maven Central, I think I have used because I want to integrate some, or if I want to connect my application through a API or something. Okay, and so let us just look at the proper definition. So module, so the project level, as we can say, the project level is that inside which we have build configuration, and it applies to all the module. Okay, so it's a basic which contains our modules of that modules that are needed by Android application project. Even though it doesn't contains much, but our application level, or we can say our application level, we actually define many things here. So first of all, we add plugins. For now we have a simple Android application plugin, which is a very basic and default plugin we use. Then we have a compile SDK, and the major thing that it contains is this, that is our application ID. It has the minimum SDK or the minimum software development kit in which our application is going to be run, and our target, and our version is 1. Versions can depend upon what version of Android Studio you are using or what version of app you want to build. And we are using for now I'm using version Java version 1.8, so it's that. And here inside the dependencies you can see that we have many kinds of dependency. For now Android Studio actually updates its dependency. Latest update was that in our Gradle Hello World, or like in a build Gradle of the project level, they have like excluded JCentral library. It was used very very firmly in our previous Android development applications, like applications that I've built earlier before this. We have used it many times, but now Google keeps updating its properties, and it also keeps updating this software very frequently. So it's also very necessary to like keep updated on what kind of libraries or what kind of dependencies we have to use in our application. Okay, it is a very necessary part. And for now we are using Android X. Previously we used to use, I think, Android V11 or V7. Okay, so here we have our like we first of all we have used a dependency like of constraint layout, and this dependency is used for our UI part specifically. And even if I want to add something new or something different to my Android application, I can copy the dependencies and then paste it here for the integration of that library. Okay, the library which are not jar files. Okay, you know that jar files are also there in Java, and they are used for Java jar files. I think you would have heard if you are coding in Java. So not that, but like simple dependencies. Okay, so here, as I told you, that application level has application ID, the version code, and minimum SDKs. And the version name and the version code are important too if you are placing your application in Google Play Store and something. So you need to have a version of like version 1.1.10, whatever. So I think it was a little bit new for you guys as for the basics, but let us move to a little easy stuff. So that is Android manifest file. Okay, now here you can see in the Android manifest file, what we are doing is we are having icons, we are having labels, and we are having some themes. Okay, so what we can say that our Android manifest file .xml, it's a XML file. It's the root project source set. Okay, so here we have the root of the project, or we can say the main descriptions of the projects, and the manifest file describes the essential information about our application. Okay, to Android build tools and Android operating system and our Google Play as well. Okay, so I think it's the first thing that runs in our application whenever we run it or build it. This is the first file that is built. Okay, and the theme of anything, or theme is just a normal word, and I know that theme means like what kind of party theme we are going to have. Similarly for application, what kind of theme you need to have. Is it going to be a daylight thing, like you want to have a dark like in your phones you have light view then dark view. Okay, so you can build both of them, or you can either use one like I just want this theme even if the phone is in dark mode or in light mode. Okay, so the theme is a collection of attributes that applies to the entire application. So theme will be like if in our phone I don't want a title bar or I don't want a status bar, so I will set a theme accordingly that in the whole application I won't have a title bar or we can say status bar anywhere. Okay, and the theme also have a type that is layout resources. So here the layout resources is the UI or an activity component. I will tell you about this in the upcoming slides. So let us move forward. So let us now move to our UI part, that is activity main.xml of our Hello World application. So here we can say that in our user interface we have different kinds of views, different kinds of elements, so that we can either add text, we can either add something like a image, or we can add something like icons, or we can say we can also add some PDFs, so like any file too. Okay, so for that we use views here. Okay, so like here we are using a simple text view, and the default text of this text view, as you can see, is hello world. Okay, so here they are using a constraint layout. Okay, like this we are using a constraint layout, and their height and width of this layout is match parent, and here the text of the text view is in the middle. Okay, so for to set that particular thing in the middle, we have to constrain the layout. As the name suggests, it's a constraint layout. So we have to constrain it from bottom, top, left, right. Okay, from all the four directions we have to constrain it. So that's why we will use layout constraint, like bottom to bottom, left to left. But as this is a basics, so I would suggest that if you use a relative layout, that for a starting, that can be really helpful. Okay, you can set it by a mouse, or you can also code like how much, we can say how much you want it space from left to right. You can adjust accordingly. For starters, relative layout is easier to work on, but constraint layout is really important to learn as well, because like in like big applications, or a user, when you have a user base of 5,000, like I built an application which has a user base of 5,000, so it needed to be in constraint layout. The whole layout should be in constraint layout. Even very little part of it I built in linear layout, but most of them was in constraint layout. It is also very important to learn. So view group, it is a base class for our layout and layout parameters. So we have some examples of that. That is linear layout. As the name suggests, that linear layout means linearly aligning everything. Okay, like in a list we align first name, second name, third name, like a list. It's like that. Relative layout is we relatively set, like if we set a thing or a view, then we will like relative to that, we will how much height the next element should be above it, or the next element should be below it. Okay, table layout, frame layout, these are all list view, grid view. And if you have ever used a movie application, or if you have ever used an application who has like upcoming videos or like this kind of things, so it is built in a grid layout. Okay, this is built on a grid layout, like they have grids of things like square brackets, or we can say the grid like in maths copy, or when we use that. Okay, and also if you're using views like this, grid view or list view or web view, to make it scrollable and much like much adaptive to the database, we also use recycler view. It is also a very useful element of our Android applications, like Android applications. Okay, so now we have our main activity.java. We have our activity main. Okay, so activity main.xml, as you see, is our UI part. Okay, and our main activity consists of a Java part. Okay, so here the activities actually means the entry point for the users. Okay, so activity will represent the screen that is in front of you. Okay, it's mainly, we can summarize it for the basics as a screen. Now if you have ever thought that if you're using a mp3 player, or if you are using a mp3 application which like we can say like plays music, like Google Play Music. Okay, so when if you even pause, like even if you put your app in the background, like we put the app in the background, still the music is playing. Somehow still the application is getting all the responses from us, or the instruction that the user interface is giving to it. Okay, this is happens because of the service. Okay, the service component of our application is actually helps us to run the application in background. And we also have content providers. Okay, so content providers are a component that allows our application to share data, okay, among other applications. Okay, so it can be done, and it can also be used for read and write, or we can use it for private databases. Now broadcast receivers are we can say are really used in pedometers. Okay, I have built an application of pedometer in which I used it, because there you used to as you like on your phone, and you use to walk. Okay, now in our Android devices we have a step counter function. Okay, we have it in Android devices, so we can count the steps of person using the phone hardware device. So now it is moving, and now we want to receive information from that. Okay, so we want to know how much step or step detector, like we want to use the step detector of the application, sorry, of the device. So we use broadcast receiver for that. We take the information from the how many steps we have run, or how much we have walked, or how many miles we have walked today. So we receive that from some different kind of system. Okay, it's not an Android, or it is not based on our application that we are currently building. It's a third party information. Okay, so for that to receive, we used a broadcast receiver. And and as I say, and the main part is it can be delayed even application is not running. Even if your pedometer app doesn't updates you, like if it is in background, even though the broadcast receiver will take the information and it will store it, and when you open the application you will have the steps that you have run even when the application was background if your phone was locked. Okay, so that is the magic of broadcast receiver. We can use it for, I think, pedometer and that kind of applications. And even if you want to make a Wear OS, I think it can be used. Now, now the main important part is our activity life cycle. Okay, so the life cycle of an activity, or we can say of the application, has some component like. Okay, let me just show you by running the application. Just a minute. So here I have already connected my application, sorry, my device to my Android Studio. So I can use this run app button to build the application in my phone. It will build on its own. Okay, let us wait for a little time while the Gradle build is running. So the Android Studio takes a little time to run the application in the first time because it's loading everything from manifest file to Android main activity and everything. So here you can see that we have hello world in our title bar, and we have a hello world text view. It's similar to the UI that we have here, and as you can see that we have a dark theme here. Okay, because in the resources we have, if you click on this resource folder, we have our icon, we have layout, we have our IC launchers, we also have values. In the values we have colors that we want to have in our themes, we have strings, and we have some. So here are the themes. So uh, actually the theme function is new in the Android Studio. In the It's because of the newest update that was given by the Google. It wasn't before. So before, actually the themes has the day and night version, we have to build it for ourselves, like how to create dark version and light version for the application. But now it has made our development easier. So now as you saw that we created an application. Okay, it started. Okay, now what I can do is, if the activity when it's launched, it's on create, on start, and on resume, on pause, on stop, and on destroy. These are the main components of our life cycle. Okay, so I can also give you one of the example, like if you want to record for how much time a video has been seen by a person, like if you are creating YouTube. Now you have to store how much time the person watched the video, what was the end time, and the time when the application stopped, or the application got destroyed, or it got paused. Okay, or or something happened, or the phone would switch off. If the phone switches off, it's on destroy of the application. So how you will save the time? So the life cycle part comes in. So what we do is, on the on start, we actually presume that the video has started, or this time the video has played from the player. So we kept the time of the on start, and we minus it from the on stop, so we get the time of the video that has been watched. Okay, so this is a on start and on stop function. Okay, now after on create and on start, a call on resume can be called if we pause the application. Okay, now I have put the application behind. Okay, sorry. If I put the application behind, now the application is on paused. Okay, and if I resume it, so it is on resume. So the life cycles are very basic, and they are very necessary if you are implementing application. Okay, this can be really helpful. And even while we use WhatsApp, we always store how the last time of the online, what was the last time you were online, and what was the latest time when you got offline or online, like that. So these are also created, these are also saved by using activity lifecycle. Okay, these are used in numerous amount of applications, and they are really important. So now, as we have some time left with us, we are going to create an application for guessing the number game. So let me explain what this game is actually. So in this game, we will generate a random number, and then we will guess what number has been generated through the program by entering any number. Okay, if the number is correct as the generated random number, it will give you that the number is correct. If the number is lower, it will show that the number that I have guessed and the random number, so the random number is greater than the number that I have typed. And similarly, for if the random number is smaller than the number I have typed. Okay, so here we will take an input from the user and compare it with the number generated. So let us code this application. So I will again create a new project here. So I will name this application as guess number. So we are going to build it in Java as well, and I'm going to name it as guess number game. So this is an Android, sorry, activity main.xml file. So here what we can do is, as I told that for a newbie, I think relative layout is much better than constraint layout. Constraint layout can be hard to work with. So for now, I will remove this constraint layout, and I will write here as relative layout. Now, uh, first of all, we can remove this text view which was inbuilt. And then what we need to do is we need to create a layout in which we will have a heading, and then a text and a edit text to type the text that the user input we want to have, and a guess button to guess the game, sorry, guess the number. Okay, so here we can type here text view. Okay. uh, the Android Studio also have a very nice thing, like it auto completes everything, and it's the XML is like we can say HTML because it has open and close tag. Okay, if you have a little idea of that, it is though very easier. Okay, like building UI is easy in Android. Okay, so we can type here, it's I'm going to type here it's with as wrap content, like how much space we need, so we use wrap content for that. It will adjust the space accordingly, and I'm going to give it an ID. Let's type here is message, and as it is a relative layout, so we have to type here, we have to give margins, so type here, or we can just type here margin. Shit. Okay, type here margin, click on this margin from top, and then we can give it as 50 dp. Okay, so here what we are doing is here if we also have different kind of pixel sizes or the screen sizes of the Android or the Android device that we are building it in. Okay, and we have a design mode that where we can also drag and drop our text views and everything. Okay, in the palette we have this text view, text, so we have text view, plain text view, password and everything, but it's not recommended that you should drag and drop your UI elements because they are unpredictable and the alignment can be disrupted. Okay, so it's better to code how much margin you want, and how much space you need and what kind of alignment you need. Okay, so we have set the margin, and just type here central. So I want it to be center in the horizontal, so I'm going to write it true. After that, I think text, we have to write a text like guess the number. After that we can also type here text size that we need. So for now we need a text size of 22 sp. So here the text sizes that we draw that we like set is from sp, and dp is for our images or setting the we can say margins or anything else we use in dp, but for the text size we use sp. Okay, so we can also type here text style. So I want a text style to be bold, and we can also set the color, so I want the text color to be white. Okay, now how the colors are stored. So colors are stored in resource folder, that is res, and inside our values we have a color folder. So here we have white, black, and the inbuilt or we can say default colors that were named by our Android Studio. After that we can have a edit text, so type here edit text, and similarly we can write here its width as 200 dp. After that we can set its height as wrap content, and after that we can type here layout. Now I want this layout below, as I told you that's a relative layout, so we are going to set one element, then we are going to like relatively mark the other elements behind, above, or on the side of it. Okay, so let's type here below. So the we want the layout below our message text view, And after this we can type here, it's we all want it and central horizontal, so type here center horizontal and type true. And after that we also want to set some margins here, so margin from top means the margin that if we are going to decide from guess the number text view is going to be, I guess, 60 dp. And we can also type here text color is to be white. After that the thing that's left is our button, so let us type here button. So now let us set its width same as editex 200 dp. And its height as wrap content, like as much as height it would need. And after that type here layout below, so it's relative, so we are going to relate it from each other. So okay, just give this id as number input, as we are going to input the number that the user types. So type here number input. And while giving the id and giving the function number, we should actually use camel case. That is, we should start with a small number with small lowercase and then with an uppercase. So that type here center horizontal as true, same as before. And similarly layout margin from top is going to be same as before. We are going to mark it as 60 dp. And I'm going to write here text, so the text is going to be validate. Okay, as we are validating our response, that is it valid or is it lower or higher than the number that was generated. Okay, so let us go to a main activity. Now here we are going to code our Java part. So what we want to do in our Java part is, first of all we will connect every UI element through find view by id in our Java. So first of all let us define all this element. So we have three elements here, that is a button, a text view, and edit text. Okay, so let us go here, type first of all text view. So we can we can name the text view as message. After that we have a edit text, so type here edit text and I'm going to name here as number input. And after that we have a button, so type here a button and we will name it as validate. So here what we are going to do is we are going to connect all the all the UI components through find view by id in our Android application. So for that let us type here message, the text view is equals to find view by id r dot id dot message. Okay, and after that we need to connect our number input, so type here number input equals to find view by id r dot id dot number input. Okay, similarly for the next time type here validate, which is equals to find view by id okay. Let us go to activity main. Okay, here we haven't given the id to our button, so type here id as validate. Now here you can see we have received an id of validation, validate id that we have given in our user interface. Now what we can do is now we have to listen whenever the button is clicked and whenever the number input is we can say when the number is inputted and the random number is generated. So first of all, let us type here, like we will type a static number that is not going to change. So type here public static final int as max number is going to be 100. Okay, whenever we have to add a constant in our Android application, we used to initialize as a static in some of the activity, or if we can like in some of the class, so that we don't have to type it again and again, and it's preferred to store it in some variable and then use it. Also, we also have to create a random number. So type here like static final int. For generating random number, we will use random class. Okay, I think it will import it, and then type here random ch sorry, not int. Type here random, and then type random, which is equals to new random function. Okay, so this is how we initialize our random class. Okay, we created an object. Now let us use it. So we will listen to everything when a button is clicked. So type here validate or set on click listener, and inside this I am going to pass this here. Okay, and just type here new game. Okay, this is the function we are going to create. Okay, instead of private function, let us type here it as public. And also type here on click. Okay, so instead of actually creating the function outside, we can also type here, instead of this we can type here new on new type. Here you can see view on click listener. Okay, inside this we can also pass the things that we want. So here if we can say that if the view that is called, or we can type here that if view is equals to validate. Okay, then we need to run a function validate, okay, which we will create soon. So here let us name it as public. So here we are going to create two methods, that is new game and validate. Okay, so validate will check how the random number is either smaller, bigger, or exactly same. Okay, so first of all, let us type here validate and type here int n, type here integer dot int. So we parse the string that we get from edit text. Now here in the edit text we are actually going to get a string. Okay, so we are going to parse it to make an integer. So type here parse the integer dot parse int, and we will type number input dot get text dot toString. Okay, this is how we take the text from the user and convert it into integer for further processing. Okay, now here what we can do is that if n is equals to Number to find, we have to create, I think, method here. Sorry, in private integer. So type here private int and type here number to find. That is a random number that is going to be generated after that, and we are also going to keep the track of number of tries given by a person. So if it is equals to the number, if n is equals to the random number generated, okay, what we are going to do is we will pass a toast message. Okay, so toast messages, so the toast message is passed or it is shown for a long or short period of time. It's like a small message that comes on a screen. Okay, it will be more clear once we make it. So type here toast. Okay, so if the random number is same as the number entered, then what we are going to type here is this. So using this, we pass the context of the application to the widget. Now here we will type in the text as congrats, you have found the number. And we will copy this thing twice. Okay, and we will say that if n is greater than the number to be found, okay, we will show a text message that number is low. So type here, sorry, if the n is greater, so it will be high, so type here too high. And if the number to find is greater than the number entered, we'll type here too low. And we will also keep track of the number of tries, so type here number tries is going to be plus plus in our validate function whenever we will call it, or when we will press our button. Now here in the new game, we will actually generate the random number that uh, we need in our validate method. So type here number to be found equals to, now type here random. That is the object that we have generated from the random default class. Now type here next int, and inside the next int type max number, that is going to be 0 to 100 plus 1. And after this type here message tv dot, I think we don't need to set text as we has already done in the UI part. So type here number input dot set text, that after clicking on the number and we have already shown what kind of, it's going to be too low or too high, we need to clear the text, so we are going to type an empty string there. After that we will type here number of tries will be equals to 0. And if we guess the right number, we can also like print here what kind of number, what times the number we have typed. And so type here number of tries, and we can also add the integer like number of tries here. Okay, so this is a validate new game and every function that we needed to create. Okay, so we have created two functions, validate and new game. Now we can also run this app on our Android devices. So let us run this application. So here we have our Android application where we can guess the number. So for now I have writing 6. So it's too low. If I write 76, it's too high. Okay, so its number is going to be between 6 and 6 or 76, or we can type here 56. Too low. So you can try like this and you can guess the number. Okay, so this is a short game of, or we can say short Android application for fun and for learning. So if you are really interested, Android is actually a really good stream and really good way to learn development. So if you guys have any questions, you can ask. uh, or we can end this. Okay.
Okay, I would like to ask something like from the audience. So कोई बता
Okay.
सकता है कि what would be the good way of guessing a number maybe? एक्चुअली इससे रिलेटेड चीज हमने गेस की थी, मतलब करी थी लास्ट सेशन में, कॉटलिन वाले में. नहीं, किसी को लगता नहीं बाइनरी सर्च से कर सकते हैं? अगर 1 to 100 नंबर है तो बाइनरी सर्च लगा के जल्दी गेस कर सकते हैं. कूल, चलो कोई नहीं. आई होप यू गाइज आर फॉलोइंग अलोंग. इसके बाद कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन है आफ्टर द सेशन एंड्स, तो अभी आप लोग लीव मत करना.
ओके, सो किसी को और कुछ डाउट? सो समथिंग डाउट रिलेटेड टू यूआई और जावा कोड जो हमने अभी करा, या एप्लीकेशन का कोई ऐसी चीज़ जो तुम लोग को समझ में ना आई हो, फील फ्री टू आस्क.